Jade here, otherwise known as ScarletRebel, and as you can probably tell, I'm in the middle of doing my makeup for my Season of Dawn Thoughts video, but Bungie have just dropped the trailer for the next season, so I figured since I had a camera pointing on me anyway, I would just react to it, and then maybe, so, damn it, I've been doing my makeup silently for the past like half an hour, and now that this is dropped, I'm just like, excitement went from like here to like all the way up here, so you'll have to bear with me. So basically, I did a stupid, I knew I was going to film today, but I forgot to charge the battery on my camera, so I'm having to film my makeup tutorial for the look that I'm going to do for the video that I plan to film on my phone, which means that, you know, in order to react to this trailer, I'm also going to have to film it on my phone. So forgive the quality. I'm not going to do like the whole reaction, whole thoughts video on my phone. I'm going to probably very quickly ramble about it after I finish my Season of Darts. Season of Darts video. Season of Dawn Thoughts video. And I have a camera on me, so I may as well do it.
Peggy 16.
Oh man. The Cabal were defeated at the Sundial. Yeah, they were. Zavala! But now. Anna! Oh my god!
Cabal have taken out the primary engine.
It's like they want this thing to drift off into space forever.
Not forever. Guardian, the Almighty is plummeting towards the last city,
Oh shit!
and we have no way to stop it. If it comes to it, we Guardians must be the ones to make a hard choice.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Was that Siva? Trials!
I have been waiting for this.
Cauldron! Cauldron was my favourite man. Oh my god, I love Saint so much.
You smoking like a board of bread.
Are you worthy? Oh, Anna and Zavala, that's so cute. That's so fucking cool. So I lied, I'm gonna ramble just a little bit about it right now, like initial thoughts, and try and carry those onto whatever like thought video I do, you know, like film. Anna and Zavala teaming up kicking ass is so cool. I'm so glad Anna's getting her mulligan, because it feels like Osiris got his in last season. Just initial thoughts. It looks like we are going to be trying to convince Rasputin to help us take out the Almighty before it hits the last city, or something to that effect. And I imagine getting more power, helping him get powerful. Maybe there's a Siva infection still in the Warmind Vault that we have to help get rid of the last little bits of, or something like that. That'd be a really good way to reintroduce Siva into Destiny 2 for players who have no idea what that is. So yeah, those are kind of the main first impressions we're getting. Anna and Zavala kicking ass together, Anna getting her mulligan, that's great. Us having to basically bargain with Rasputin. Definitely going to talk about the Osiris cutscene where he was basically like, you know, get off my lawn at Rasputin, and how that kind of ties into this, because Osiris said that he knew what he saw in the forest and that's why he left. So either he saw the Almighty falling, or he saw some kind of darkness thing and he knew that Rasputin was we know he saw a pyramid. We know he saw a pyramid over the last city, but it's implied at the end of Season of Dawn that the forest had changed that timeline. He said that the timeline that he once saw was no longer there. How he's seen darkness, and he was asking Rasputin which side he's on, which does tie into this season from the looks of it, because now Rasputin's got to prove to people like Osiris who have seen the future and have seen what Rasputin is probably capable of, which side he is on, if he's going to help us or if he's not going to help us. So yeah, those are the initial thoughts. That's what I'm going to talk about in just a second here in front of a proper camera. Anna and Zavala, Anna's mulligan, us having to prove to Rasputin that we are worthy enough for his help, which is so Rasputin. Oh my god, that's perfect. And also how it ties into the Osiris cutscene. Very excited. Hello, so here we are. I yanked my battery out of its charger. Probably got about half an hour worth of use on it, which is fine because I have about half an hour before I have other things I need to do. So let's just talk about it. So the first thing that really struck me about that trailer is the fact that it looks like Anna is getting her mulligan much in the same way Osiris and Eris and the Vex did. If you look at the seasons that have come out post Shadowkeep, which is, you know, arguably when Bungie really went self-published, we've had, you know, Eris' story get a reboot. She's, throughout Shadowkeep, she basically got the, you know, revenge story that she didn't get in Dark Below. The story in Dark Below felt a little bit chokehold-did, I guess. So she's finally she finally got that story. We got to explore each of her fire team members. We got to grant her that kind of closure and that revenge story in a little bit of a better way than just killing the god that killed them. And then of course with Season of the Undying we got to go back to Black Garden in the raid. We got to explore more about the Vex. We got to learn more about them. And then we had, so yeah, if you look at, you know, Eris' story, the Vex, that's Vanilla Destiny and Dark Below. So it definitely feels like, and I'm not saying this is what they've, you know, actually been consciously doing, but it definitely feels like Bungie have been kind of taking the reins on their story and trying to retell them in the ways that they wanted to, that maybe they couldn't before. And then of course with Season of Dawn, yeah, Season of Dawn surrounded Saint 14, but we did have a lot more Osiris action. We got to interact with him a little bit more. He got to be an actual like quest giver, NPC type. He was around a lot more to interact with the Guardian. He was the voiceover in the Sundial rather than just being the voiceover in a few strikes like he was in Curse of Osiris. So Osiris as a character got his kind of, his better story, and I guess that's kind of more in the way of what it feels like Bungie are trying to do, is they're trying to take their characters back and retell their stories in better ways that maybe they couldn't before, or maybe they just didn't push enough. You can argue that they didn't really do it with Eris because she didn't really do a lot until Taken King. Osiris, I know as a character, was a little bit of a letdown for a lot of people when his DLC came out after Destiny 2. And now it feels like they're doing that with Anna, which is really exciting. Just seeing her kicking ass in any trailer, any cutscene, any comic book, anything like that is always really exciting. And I really hope this DLC explores more the connection between her and Osiris. I'd really like to see a lore book or a lore piece that talks about her as Anna Bray back in the Golden Age, when they were building the war mines and when, you know, humanity was thriving and etc, etc. I'd like to hear a little bit more about, you know, Elsie Bray / the Exo Stranger. I know that it's been said before that her story has kind of ended and they don't really have any plans to open it up, but, you know, this DLC would be a good time to at least explore it. You know, the same way that we kind of got a little bit of an insight into, you know, Praedith in the Vault in Season of Undying. It would be really cool if we just got, you know, a little insight into what the Exo Stranger, or Elsie Bray, or whatever you want to call her, is up to at the moment. Also, something that I'm really excited about and I really hope Bungie do is give Zavala a little bit more airtime. Ikora got the entirety of Season of Undying. She was around a little bit, again mostly in the lore in Season of Dawn, but now I'm hoping that Zavala really gets his moment to shine. I know that there's kind of that meme going around of why was he there in the first Warmind DLC anyway. That didn't really make a lot of sense, and I mean, let's be honest, it didn't. But if you read the comic collection, which yes I have on my shelf right here, you'll know that Zavala and Anna, I wouldn't say they're close, but he's definitely the vanguard that she kind of, how do I say it, respects the most or finds herself in line with a lot more, even though yeah, throughout the entire Warmind DLC they argued. You know, they fought together at Twilight Gap. She, you know, seems to have a lot of respect for him, and I think that goes both ways as well. So if they're going to, you know, mulligan Anna's character, I hope they're going to do the same with Zavala as well. Because we're not just talking about Rasputin in this DLC, we're talking about the city as well, and the city is very much Zavala's domain. Everything that he does is to protect the city. So two really great characters who have a lot of potential, had a lot of potential, didn't really get their moments to shine in the Warmind DLC. Hopefully now we're going to get those moments. So my second takeaway from the trailer was that it looks to me, especially with the name Season of the Worthy, or Season of Worthy, where we are going to have to convince Rasputin that we are worthy of his help, essentially. I don't read a lot of the Rasputin lore just because a lot of it is in code. It's stuff that you kind of have to decipher and read through the lines. And it's not that I can't do that, it's just that I don't want to. So I'll watch a video or read someone talk about it or just kind of infer what I can. But even with just having a base level knowledge of Rasputin, even I know that the Guardian's crying out help us, and Rasputin saying only if you do these 7 specific quest steps is a very Rasputin thing to do. So it makes me really hopeful for his characterization. And yes, I know he's an AI and he doesn't really talk a lot. What he does talk in is in Russian and, you know, music and stuff like that. But he is infinitely interesting. A lot of people want to know a lot more about him. And, you know, in a similar fashion to Anna and Zavala and the fact that neither of them got their chance in Warmind, you know, Rasputin was the Warmind and he didn't really get his chance. They also retconned a lot of stuff in Warmind. Like, back in Destiny 1 it was believed that there were Warminds all over the solar system. So like there was a Warmind on each planet. But then in the Warmind DLC it was confirmed that it's just Rasputin, which was a big retcon, which means that there's a lot of holes in the lore now and a lot of things that need to be stitched together, so now would be the time to do that. And then very quickly, before my battery absolutely dies, the last takeaway that I had was, you know, in tune with the Osiris cutscene that dropped about a week ago. So in case you haven't seen it, essentially it's just a cutscene of Osiris talking to Rasputin and accusing him of being a thug and a murderer and saying that everyone looks at him and sees a god, but he doesn't see that. Osiris implies that they both know why Osiris left the forest, that Osiris saw a ending of the world. And I would infer from that that the reason why he's talking to Rasputin and asking Rasputin which side he's on is because Rasputin's going to have a hand in that. If you read the lore before Season of Dawn dropped, you'll know that the whole reason Osiris came to the Guardians to ask them to help with the sundial after the Cabal started to mess around with it is because he started to see an ending where one of the big pyramid ships was just over the city and it was absolutely devastated. I don't know if that ending is the ending that Osiris is accusing Rasputin of having a hand in, just because at the end of Season of Dawn, you know, the whole quest kind of stuff, when you finished everything with Osiris, he told you that the ending that he once saw wasn't there anymore. So maybe Osiris is doing that wizened old man thing where he's keeping little bits of the truth because he doesn't want tons of people to know about it because they're going to panic, which, given his backstory, again, if you've read the first comic collection, you'll know that he's well within his rights to do that. The short story of that is Osiris tried to warn people about the darkness and everyone just took it as prophecies and called him crazy, and it caused this whole stir in the city and he was exiled. That's the very, very, very short version of Osiris's backstory. You can read all the comics, all of them? All of, if not most of the comics in this volume you can read online, and I'll link them down in the description. So yeah, I don't know if Osiris is referring to that ending that he saw in the lore that we read before Season of Dawn. I don't know if there is a different ending. He said that he left the forest for that reason. So did he leave the forest just to call Rasputin out? Did he leave the forest to try and nudge the Guardians in the direction of parleying with Rasputin and trying to get him to help? I also wouldn't put it past Osiris to have gone back into the forest after we've gotten rid of that one particular timeline that the Cabal had messed in with, and then seen another one and then have gone to Rasputin. Although that's just made me think, what if that pyramid one in the lore, and I'll link that specific lore piece down below so you know exactly which one I'm talking about, what if the ending with the pyramid over the city, what if that is the end? What if that is the end Osiris saw, and the end that he refers to throughout the Season of Dawn quest, or story, or DLC, or whatever you want to call it, season? What if that ending is completely different? Because he does talk in Sundial when you're doing it about how, you know, the future in which this Scion is doing this thing is this, and this Scion does this, and this Scion does that. So what if there were 2 endings? There was one where the Red Legion got involved. Well, we knew that the Red Legion wanted to manipulate the sundial in order to make it so that Gaul won, the solar system. So maybe that's one ending, and then the pyramid is the other ending right now, which Osiris is trying to deal with by saying to Rasputin, whose side are you on, because we both know that this is going to happen, or it has a good chance of happening. I don't know. There's a lot of theories, a lot of what ifs. I feel like I'm gonna be editing this and go on Twitter and go on Tumblr and people are going to be like, oh, this easy solution. I'm going to feel like a little bit of a nutcase.
Hello, hi, future Jade here. So speaking of going on Twitter and Tumblr and seeing different things, I have since finished recording, sat down, had some lunch and realised that, of course, because they uploaded a trailer as well, Bungie released their whole kind of Season of Worthy like information site thing with all of the new stuff and more information on the story and things like that. So what I'm gonna do is very quickly kind of go through that, give my first impressions, my first reactions, and very awkwardly go back to the other video because I am such a disorganized mess. I am the worst Virgo ever. So this is the main kind of, I guess, promotional image for this season. Obviously we've had the Vex with Season of Undying and State of 14 with Season of Dawn, so now we have Anna and Zavala. One thing I will say about all of the seasons is that I do really enjoy how it's like a character focus. Like obviously for the 3 seasons that they did post-Forsaken, each character had their moment, and they're continuing that trend with all of the seasons with these kind of really cool, almost like collage, watercolor, well it's not watercolor, but these like painted pictures of the characters who are like the main characters in the season. It wasn't the Vex, it was like Cora who was actually the kind of face of Season of Undying, which was really cool I thought. So yes, really enjoy this. So we scroll down and we see Zavala's lovely face and my girlfriend in the background. And it says, save the last city. With the Sundial freed from the clutches of the Red Legion, one escaped Scion Flyer and acts a desperate ploy for revenge against the last city. Which is interesting. So that was something that was said in the trailer, was the Cabal have nothing left to lose. So in their last kind of desperate ploy, it looks like they're trying to hack the Almighty so that it falls into the last city. And we have another Scion Flyer character who is going to attempt to do that. I'm not a big fan of the Cabal as an enemy race, and all I mean by that is that, you know, my favourites tend to be more along the lines of the Fallen. They're kind of my favourite enemy race. I do like the Hive and the Taken as well. But I know a lot of people who do really enjoy the Cabal and enjoy the Scions in particular, especially as characters. Again, there was a few lore pieces before Season of Dawn that were from the Scions' perspective. The Scions are the bosses of the Sundial. And I know a lot of people are probably going to really enjoy this. And then, yeah, that's the Almighty. So power up Rasputin. Time is running out. Race against time to save the last city from destruction. Seraph Towers, join your fellow Guardians and prepare Rasputin's defences in shared public events. Bounties and bunkers. Rise to Rasputin's challenge and clear bunkers throughout the system to re-establish communication with the Warmind. So these are all really interesting. Time is running out. That strikes me as like a community event, and I really hope they do the same thing that they did with kind of the Empyrean Foundation and putting Fractaline into the towers and everything. It's like we've all got to work together as Guardians to either win Rasputin's favour or power him up. So power up Rasputin makes me think now it could be less about winning his favour. It could be more about helping him get the power to actually physically be able to do it, which is kind of winning his favour as well. Because I can very much imagine us, with Anna's help, going to Rasputin and saying, look, we need your help, and him saying, well, I'm not sure if I want to help you anyway, but I also don't really have the power to, so if you want to help me out with that, maybe I'll think about it. So that, I like that. That's got more layers to it than just Rasputin going, nah, you know, you gotta prove yourself first. Rasputin actually needs help, he needs to be more powerful, so it's like, he helps us, but he gains something as well. Which would also make more sense if Osiris was staring him down and saying, which side are you on? Because Osiris has seen that we're gonna end up making him more powerful. Seraph Towers, that's gonna be the PvE thing. Which is probably going to be, well, it says shared public events, and from the information that I've seen kind of floating around, it looks like it's going to be less Sundial-y, more like Vex Invasion, where there was different Vex Invasions all around the moon. Or maybe it will be in one area, I guess we'll see, but that's basically the PvE event for this season. And then bounties and bunkers. So this, there's something later on, because I have kind of very briefly peeked through this, but there was something later on in this kind of article that talks about lost sectors, and I think that's what this refers to. So I'm not going to talk about that just yet. I'm going to wait until we get to the lost sector part. Scroll. Trials of Osiris. I have a video about Season of Dawn, which has either come out or will come out, where I talk about my opinions about Trials and it coming back, so I won't bother talking about that here. I'll just link that somewhere around and down below so you can go check that out if you like. The fact that it's here to stay, I really enjoy. Free to play, all Guardians at power level 960 or greater, that's good. And then Perfection rewards, it's all very reminiscent of Lighthouse, Trials of Osiris in Destiny 1. Also, this hat and this pin is really, really cool. I am glad that there is a seal for Trials of Osiris and like a, you know, a Bungie Rewards. I do enjoy the Bungie Rewards program a lot. Maybe I'll talk about that in a separate video. But I do enjoy like the shirts and the hoodies and stuff like that. I think it's really cool. And then this is the Season 10 exotic weapon. Tommy's matchbook. Tommy the Ghost presents us with a token of goodwill. Sure, it might just be a match, but all a Guardian needs to light up the darkness is a spark. I think this is a gorgeous gun. It looks really, really cool. It doesn't say anything about what kind of gun it is. It strikes me as a auto. I mean, it's a rifle. It's either auto rifle, scout rifle, something like that. Maybe it's a pulse, I don't know, but it looks cool. I'm unsure if this is the quest one or the free one for the I imagine it's the free one for the season. I'll specify somewhere, but yeah, looks very good. Bungie always nail the design of weapons. And this is the artifact. So when I was peeping through earlier, before I started filming this video, I remembered the fact that I said a little while ago in this video that they retconned a lot of the Warmind stuff to where there used to be tons of war mines around the system on each planet, but now there's only Rasputin. Warmind Kanjali, if I'm saying that right. I hope this has lore. I hope this has lore. I hope it explains what Kanjali is. If it is another Warmind, if there's another Warmind out there, if they're re-retconning stuff. I am super, super, super curious about this. The name itself has me like excited, and it just looks gorgeous. It is so pretty. I want to know why a Warmind has a sword. I want to know why it looks so ornate. I want to know what this thing here is. It's very pretty, and I'm very curious. Season pass, exotic auto rifle, Tommy's matchbook. So yeah, this is an auto rifle. I knew it. She's a casual, but she knows her weapons kind of. So yeah, this is the exotic. Well, not exotic. This is the season pass armor. Hat. Why is the first hat ever, first of all, one of those? I don't even know the name of it. And second of all, on a hunter. And third of all, not a cowboy hat. Okay? Firstly, in the last season, you made the hunters have the Tex Mechanica gear for some reason, even though Tex Mechanica is, you know, associated with Last Word and all the other huntery cowboy goodness. You gave Warlocks armor that had Tex Mechanica stuff all over it for some reason, and now you are giving the hunters a hat that isn't a cowboy hat, and the Warlocks have a knife. What is it with Warlocks and, you know, constantly telling Titans and hunters that they look terrible, and yet stealing bits of our fashion? They stole Tex Mechanica, now they have a knife. I'm done with it. I'm done. This isn't fair. No, I do hate it. I was gonna say, I don't hate it, but I do. Maybe there'll be some ornaments over the top of them that will make them look a little bit better, or maybe I'll get a shader on them and I might like them, but it's just quite bulky, which, you know, what was I going to expect from a Warmind armor? But I am not a huge fan of it, unfortunately. So this is the bit that I'm really excited about that I haven't looked at yet. So it's progression, the seasonal rank, the battle pass, whatever. I'm really excited about this because I get to actually peep like emotes and, you know, like materials and stuff like that in the season. So I haven't looked at any of this apart from what's just here. This right here looks like a finisher. I'm really excited about that, whatever that is. Actually, it looks like the Valkyrie. It looks like a Valkyrie finisher, the same kind of like animation where you like pull it back and throw it. It looks like that. So that's really cool. Shotgun, which is cool. Another ship, exotic ship right there. Looks pretty cool, but I don't know how I feel about that. Usual stuff. That cloak looks nice though. Sparrow, which is cool. This looks like an ornament for the SMG. Ornament for the shotgun. That looks cool. That looks really cool. That's an exotic emote. That's an exotic emote, which is like slamming something into the ground. That looks cool. That looks really cool. It kind of reminds me of the Iron Banner emote that people had to pay for a while ago. I don't think it's that though, but it reminds me of that, which is cool. So yeah, nothing huge. There's definitely not as much there as there was in Season of Dawn, but that's because Season of Dawn involved a lot of material stuff like the fractaline and things like that. And then the very last thing I'm going to talk about as far as this article goes is the Guardian games right here. Oh, and the Legendary Lost Sectors. That was something I wanted to talk about. So the part before where it talked about, what did it talk about? What did it say? It was saying bounties and bunkers. So Legendary Lost Sectors, yes, Seraph bunkers, so they're bunkers. I've been saying for ages that Lost Sectors were one of the main things that really excited me when Destiny 2 was first announced, and when they did that big reveal stream in that aircraft hangar and they talked about Lost Sectors. Lost Sectors really excited me because I just felt like they had a lot of potential and they haven't quite reached that potential yet. I feel like Shadowkeep took a good kind of first step in making it so that, you know, you have a bounty that you have to do every week in order to get a really important artifact to get more rewards from the dungeon. And, you know, you have to do all the Lost Sectors in order to do that. The Lost Sectors have nightmares inside of them, which are unique bosses. So Shadowkeep definitely took a good first step in making Lost Sectors a lot more worthy. A lot more viable, I guess, like a lot more fun to do. They actually had rewards attached to them that you wanted to get, essentially. So the idea of them turning Lost Sectors legendary by creating bunkers, I think is a really, really good idea and another fun step forward. If that rotates every week, that would be exactly the kind of thing I would want, that I've been talking about, that I felt like they could do with Lost Sectors forever. Small side note, but I do have Destiny OCs because I'm that kind of fan. And I remember a while ago, me and my friends talked about what kind of vendors our Guardians would be if, you know, they were vendors in the Destiny universe. And I made one of my characters like a vendor for Lost Sectors, because the vision that I had was that Lost Sectors would change and this character would be on a different planet every week, or maybe like every day, and would be saying, right, here's this specific Lost Sector I need you to go take. The enemies inside are going to be really, really hard, but I'm going to give you something really good when you know, take them down. Because that was how badly I wanted Lost Sectors to be, like, you know, viable and worthy and like just really, really fun. So I'm definitely very, very interested in whatever the Seraph bunkers end up being. I really hope they're really cool. And then the other thing to talk about is the Guardian games. Someone on Twitter said maybe SRL. I would be very happy if it was SRL. Way back in Destiny 1, I missed the last time SRL was around, basically. I'm very surprised that they've, you know, if it does come back, even if it doesn't, that they've waited this long for SRL to come back, because it is such a fan favourite game. So yeah, I sincerely hope that that's something about it. Class competition, new legendary armour, a brand new set of armour sounds really cool. It's gonna be like that. How long does it go on for? April 21st to May 11th, so like a good couple of weeks. That's gonna be a really funny couple of weeks within the community. One thing I'm not looking forward to though is all of the Titan eating crayon jokes. Not to get serious for a second, but it's a very ableist joke, and I am not looking forward to seeing that all over the place during Guardian games. However, I hope that there is some fun sportsmanship level of Hunters versus Titans versus Warlocks. I just hope it gives us some good memes and some good fun. I can't wait. I think it's gonna be really cute. And now that I've gone through all of that, I'll take you back to past Jade and she'll wrap up the video. But essentially, I'm just super excited for this next season. I'm going to have a video up, or I already do have a video up, talking about Luke Smith's director's cut for 2020. All of the season changes look really good. I'm really excited for them. I adore the way the narratives have been weaving into each other. The cutscenes, everything with the quests, the characters that are coming back. I adore it, I love it, and I'm so excited for this season. So anyway, my name is Jade, otherwise known as ScarletRebel. This channel is a place for me to get really excited and over the top and yelly about everything that I love, from video games to comic books to movies to beauty to D&D and all kinds of things. If you think you'd like to have a peep at my content, please consider subscribing. Links for all my socials and everything will be down in the description below. If you're a particular fan of Destiny, I do yell a lot about it on Twitter, so feel more than free to follow me. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope you all enjoy Season of Worthy. Please leave your comments and stuff like that down below, and let's talk about what we're excited about. And yeah, see you later. Ugh, I'll never get better at outros.